All right, firing it up. Let's see if we can get this thing rolling. Da-da-da. All right, we are good to go. This is Winning Cures Everything. I am Gary Seegers. We appreciate you jumping in today. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at GaryWCE. You can find more about the show at winningcureseverything.com. Got 3 things to hit on today, 2 topics, and then, of course, the college basketball picks. We got murdered last night, but you got to hop back on. The numbers don't always fail, but they did in spectacular fashion last night. We're going to talk about Dan Enos, the Alabama quarterbacks coach, being the new offensive coordinator at Miami and what that means. And we're going to talk about the largest sports book in the world that is coming in 2020. So let's go on and jump in. Dan Enos, Alabama quarterback coach. He was at Arkansas for 3 years prior to that. He worked wonders with Jalen Hurts this year. Guy was fantastic. All the reports and whatnot before the national championship game said that he was going to take the offensive coordinator spot when Mike Locksley left Alabama for Maryland. That did not end up being the case. So Alabama now has lost 4 offensive assistants and no defensive assistants. And I am not sure exactly what that means. It seemed like the defense was the biggest problem in the championship game. Although the offense not being able to convert on third down, not being able to make plays in the biggest spots, not being able to convert in the red zone, that was an issue. But these guys are getting, other jobs, other big jobs. Josh Gaddis with the Michigan offensive coordinator job, Enos with the Miami offensive coordinator job, Locksley getting a head coaching gig, and then Brent Key, offensive line coach, is now the offensive line coach at Georgia Tech, where he is actually from. We'll see what happens with the defense. I would imagine that this is not the end of it. This is the pack your bag season, as Pat Forty at Yahoo Sports said. Enos taking that job, I would imagine, since Miami was already one of the favorites to land Jalen Hurts as a graduate transfer. I think that helps things out a little more with that. Enos, I don't know that there was any bad blood. I think he might have just wanted to change the scenery. Working for Nick Saban is hard. I mean, that makes 19 assistants since the end of the 2014 season that have left Alabama. I don't know if it's just a difficult work environment, which, we have been told that it is. A lot of coaches can only take so much of it. But they do all end up in better spots than what they had at Alabama. So I'm not sure what's happening there. But we'll see. I'm sure that Saban is he's got a plan. He'll be ready to fire this thing up again next year. Let's see. I've got a Volunteer Roadshow. We got Jim Chaney. Asked me about after the Alabama game how I feel about him. Yeah, we talked the other day about Jim Chaney. Chaney is Georgia fans complained about his red zone calling, right? His play calls in the red zone were insanely predictable. Everybody knew what was coming. There was a lot of jumbo package. It reminded me of the Alabama Mike Shula years where they had the jumbo package. And they just lined up I formation, and you knew exactly what was coming. And so long as you had the guys to be able to stop them, then you could stop them. And most of the teams back then did because they could not recruit at a high level back then. But yeah, Volunteer Roadshow, we appreciate you guys. That's we love those guys. Hopefully I'll be back on with him again eventually. And I'm going to have to get my phone system set up so that we can get him in with us. But on to the next topic. The largest sports book in the world is opening in Las Vegas in 2020. Now I'm excited about it. It's Circa Las Vegas is the company. The Circa Hotel and Resort, and the sports book is here. Let me read a little bit of this because, man, when I was reading it, I was just blown away. The sportsbook will have 2 floors of stadium seating. The 3rd floor of the sportsbook will feature a studio for the Vegas Sports and Information Network. Stevens, who is Derek Stevens, is the guy that is putting this whole thing together. He said, when you think of a sportsbook, we want to create that wow moment. We want to create something that people don't forget. For me, I'll never forget that moment I walked into the Las Vegas Hilton, now the Westgate Superbook. I looked around and thought to myself, my God, this is the greatest place on earth right here. When you come close to the sports book, you'll see the VSIN studio overlooking the three-story largest sports book in Las Vegas history. It's going to make every guest that comes here want to take a picture and want to make a bet and want to go home and tell all their friends that they were here. It looks incredible. So I've got the iPad here. We'll see if you can see it. It is remarkable. Just ridiculous. Here, let me see if I can pull up more to it here. The seating in it is just absurd, and I am just obsessed with sportsbook, sports gambling, all of that, and man, I'm looking forward to it. I know I will be out there when it opens. I absolutely love everything about Vegas. We go down to Tunica all the time. Hopefully we are moving in the right direction as far as building bigger and better ones. The ones in Tunica, Mississippi right now are fantastic, and I enjoy those. I spend a lot of time down there. But man, we ain't nobody ever seen anything like this. I'll tell you that right now. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. So let's go on and jump into the college basketball picks. We went 2-8 last night. I don't know what to tell you. I got nothing. But we went 2-8, and it was awful. And the numbers failed us. We had, I think, 4 games that we had unders on that went to overtime. And we would have hit the under. That we had unders on that we would have hit the under had it not gone to overtime. It was insane to watch it all unfold. And then you've got games like Pacific against Gonzaga, where we take the over 158, and Gonzaga puts up 67 points and Pacific only puts up 36. Gonzaga had been averaging 93 points a game and Pacific averaging 77 a game. Are you kidding me? I mean, what is – I don't even understand. So on tonight, there's only 6 games tonight. Simple stuff, right? Like, if you don't like numbers, don't bet them, etc. Look, my number's like 4 different sides on this, so let's do this. I am going over 129 in Siena versus Marist. Siena versus Marist, over 129. I'm also taking Marist minus 2.5 there. The number's like Marist by like 6 or 7, and they're only catching 2.5 or giving up 2.5. I'm in. So Marist minus 2.5 and the over 129. I'm taking the under 158 in Ryder against Canisius. That's under 158 there. And I've got Northern Kentucky minus 5 at home against Wright State. The number's like Northern Kentucky by 9 to 10. So I'm riding that one. So we'll get off the schneid. The 2-8 is terrible, but we're still 29-22 for the last week. That's 57%. I'm in with that. So as always, you go follow me at Gary WCE on Twitter. I'm Gary Seegers. This is Winning Cures Everything. Check us out at winningcureseverything.com. We appreciate all you guys for coming in.